up to 6 parameters will show here below for some of the filters, right? There are many filters on the timeline editor. This one had just one, and we could use that. I'm going to actually do that, right? So I'm going to say, well, here it's too intense. Let's reduce and blend it to the other. But then here before that, let's give it a little bit more of the original. And here after that, let's give it a little bit more again, something like that. All right, maybe spread these keyframes a little bit there and apply that. So now we have a transition that still reveals quite a nice amount of shadow, but also leaves the airplane a little bit more the way it probably should be. Okay, I think we can close this timeline editor. We've done enough damage with that. Now we have a nice animation that shows the airplane with the shadow, not too strong, not too opaque, and that's the one we would want to store. So first of all, let's make sure we have a nice safe copy of that. And when you save it to disk, it's actually safe, because if the program crashes or runs out of memory or somebody pulls the power plug, you can find those DWA dog waffle animation files. All right, so we have this. We can minimize the others, and now we have essentially this animation that we will call the swap, and we have this animation that's going to go into the main, and we can minimize this dude, and here we are. And if we blend them, we can see them both together. And as we scrub through them, you can see there's a tiny hint of a shadow, right? And at that point, you could simply right-click and merge with swap. Or again, once again, another technique that you can do is combine with swap and perhaps do the multiply here. All right, so I'm gonna go with this one here, right-click on merge with swap, and it's gonna pull every frame from this stored animation into the swap and then blend it together and then move on to the next frame, so you have a nice combination of these two. And there we are. All right, we don't need the blending. In fact, if you do want more of it, you can simply do this again. Right, you can see the shadow is even more intense if you do that. Without it, this is what it looks like. This is with it once more. So let's do a merge or swap again. Or before we do that, let's be safe and store to disk what we currently did. It's never too disk space is cheap, so you want to take advantage of that, right? So this is what we currently have. This is what we're about to render again, merge or swap, and you can do this again and again and keep merging the swap image sequence that we have down here with the existing animation that we have up here. All right, and if that's not enough, then just do it one more time. All right, so we have a good idea of how to composite this. Now we have one more thing to do, which is the shadow, the reflection on the bottom of the airplane. On the bottom of the water, we should see a portion of this airplane being reflected. All right, let's look at that in the next section.